Let's talk Tanya for the 13th of Teves of a leap year. Up until this point, we've been talking about the godly soul, the animal soul, but as distinct entities. We're talking about each one of them individually. We spoke about, the substance, the core components, the structure, the agenda, the expressions of each one of them. And then in yesterday's Tanya, we spoke about the home base of each one of them. The godly soul is based in the mind, and the animal soul is based in the heart. But from everything we've learned up until this point, you might walk away with the impression that they're both busy minding their own business. Each one has their own thing, their own desires, their own agenda. And in today's Tanya, we're going to find out that that's actually not the case. There is a major struggle that's going on constantly between the godly soul and the animal soul. The example that the Alter Rebbe gives is of two kings, and both of them are fighting for sovereignty over, there's a small city. The small city is the body. You have the two kings, the animal soul and the godly soul, and both of them are struggling because both of them want to be the sovereign of the city. They want to control every single part of the city. To use a more modern day analogy, maybe we could compare it to, imagine you have all the computer hardware. You have a keyboard, and you have screens, and you have a mouse, and you have a speaker, and you have a webcam. But there are two computers. And both of these computers, each one wants that all of the hardware should be connected to it. The same thing is also over here. We have the godly soul as one operating system, it's one computer. We have the animal soul, it's another operating system, it's another computer. And each one of them wants that everything should be plugged into it. The godly soul wants that the body should be plugged into it, which means in every area, in every which way, starting with the mind, that the mind should be filled with godly thoughts, and that's going to cause the heart to have godly and divine and holy feelings. And if a person has holy feelings, automatically that expresses itself as in holy thoughts, speech, and action, holy behaviors. And the animal soul wants the exact opposite. It wants that the mind should be filled with self-centered thoughts, which leads the heart to have self-centered feelings, and which ultimately that will lead to self-centered thought, speech, and action. So what we have over here is that, and this is something we've spoken about in the past, is that the struggle between the animal soul and the godly soul is not only about what will I do? Will I do a mitzvah or will I do a sin? It's an identity struggle. It's who am I? Each one wants that the entirety of my being should be an expression of it. The godly soul wants that every part of my body should express it, my mind, my heart, and every one of my limbs, and the animal soul wants the opposite. This is the ultimate struggle, which is going on 24/7. At every moment, the godly soul wants me to be a vehicle for it. The animal soul wants me that I should be a vehicle for it. Now, we're saying over here that the godly soul, its desire is that my mind should be filled with godly thoughts, and that should lead to godly feelings. What exactly are those godly feelings? We know that godly feelings are love for God and awe for God. Those are the two basic holy feelings that there are. In tomorrow's Tanya, we're going to find out, however, that there are two different levels or categories of possible love for God. Both of them are part of the agenda of the godly soul, and we'll explore this, God willing, in tomorrow's Let's Talk Tanya.